some of the best things you've seen from us have come across our desk mere weeks before you've seen them in the market. And I mean, I'm gonna have every rep calling me after this one, Matt. But like,
This is the Snarketing podcast for marketers by marketers, talking to marketers with just a touch of snark. Now, here are your hosts, Valerie Vespa and Matt Wurst.
Hola y bienvenidos al Snarketing podcast. Yo soy Matt Wurst.
Y yo soy Valeria Vespa.
Y bienvenidos a season 4. And for those
Cuatro.
of you who tuned in thinking that maybe you hit the SAP button on your podcast channel, we're just global. So I wanted to start off season 4, Valerie, by welcoming anyone who may have primarily a Spanish-speaking or listening predilection. But we're going to do the rest of this podcast in English because that's about as much Spanish as I remember from high school.
Great. Thankfully, I was getting worried that this was going to have to continue, and I don't know what I was going to say.
That's it. We're good here. But can I be the last person to wish you a Happy New Year?
Oh my God. I know. There will be some creeper who ends up telling me that again. And I find myself to be that.
Well, we're recording this, middle into late January at this point because we needed our hiatus. We needed our respite. I guess I needed to recover from CES, but for the first time and as long as I've known you, I don't think you went.
I
didn't. You didn't respond to my texts.
I know. Of course, I would have responded. Who else would I go see like 50 Cent or Snoop Dogg with in the evening? But no, I did not go this year. And while it felt very nice not planning for Vegas at the top of the year, I did have some serious FOMO when I received messages from friends far and wide who would be there. Seemed like a lot of people.
Text though of like, where are you? How many of those did you get?
Quite a few.
Yeah. Did you respond to them or no?
Of course I did.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's managing and maintaining relationships because you'll be at the next one, I'm sure.
Yeah, likely. And if not, 2.0, which is possible. Anyway.
Remarkably, I am the only person who came away from CES without the most important takeaway, which was the CES flu. I feel great.
Ooh.
So I've hit the ground running. We've been back. But lots of travel ahead. So I don't know. I'll be wearing my mask on the plane. So
I feel like you're extremely busy. I don't hear from you as often as I used to.
The beginning of the year is an important time for getting things organized and planned. And we had some great Q4 success on the genuine side. So we're looking to build on that momentum. But we are here today to talk. Well, we're kicking off season 4. So we ended last year with our recap and some predictions. Now's the time we got to make good on those. So we're talking bigger guests, bigger conversations, bigger audience, hopefully. And today's first guest is kicking us off with a bang. Really odd to be talking to Jason Acker from Diageo in what for many people is dry January. But hopefully he will not be dry in January with his personality. I don't think he can be.
I agree with that. I'm so excited to have him on. We've been working on this for several weeks now, so I'm glad to get the schedules finally aligned.
Well, and you told me you're going to go off script, which was a surprise to me because I didn't know we had a script. Well, that's my dog. My dog is excited for this. He's ready. I think he sees and hears Jason pulling up to my front door, ready for this podcast. So let's just go.
On this Snarketing podcast, we're joined by Jason Acker, Vice President of Media and Digital for North America at Diageo, where he spent more than 12 years helping to shape how some of the world's most iconic brands show up in culture and drive growth. Jason leads integrated media strategy across brands like Smirnoff, Johnnie Walker, Crown Royal, and Don Julio, overseeing everything from digital activation and e-commerce to data-driven and AI-enhanced marketing. From earning a gold Effie for Don Julio's historic Oscars partnership to redefining how media teams operate at scale, Jason sits at the intersection of culture, technology, and performance.
Jason, welcome. Thank you for kicking off season 4 with us. We promised bigger guests, bigger conversations, and I don't think it gets any bigger than you right here with us.
Absolutely
right now.
not. No, I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest get you guys could possibly find.
Certainly for dry January. I don't think anyone's better equipped to talk about this with us.
What else are we doing here?
I'll admit I haven't had a drink yet this month, so my apologies. But
wow, made it through CES, huh, Matt?
I did. 0 alcohol at CES. If I was the one who did it, but
I think I'm drinking more than ever. But anyway.
You're compensating for mine, so we are keeping Jason's sales numbers at least.
Matt, we have some amazing non-alcohol products, and I will be happy to send some to your home if you'd like to try them this month.
Yeah. So we'll get into that because I think that's actually a really interesting and exciting marketing opportunity. But I don't want to get to the hard stuff first because we are in January. We're like halfway through the month. Have you already started thinking about 2027 planning yet? That's going to be my first question.
We here at Diageo live on a fiscal year that goes July through June. So we are deep into fiscal 27 planning. Life goes very fast here at Diageo. I'm already in 2027. I'm right there.
How did you know, Matt? You felt it.
I didn't. It was actually meant to be a joke question because who starts planning 2027 in January of 26? But again, you know why you're the best in the business.
That's why. That's why I'm a year ahead of everybody.
Okay. So now as we've looked ahead, let's now trace backwards because that's what we do. You and I have interestingly led very parallel lives from our Dentsu days together where Diageo was actually my client. Like, it's interesting that we've never talked about that history before. But from tech to agency, have you worked on like entertainment brands and clients?
I have spent a lot of time working on Viacom when that was still a thing.
So, okay, world's most iconic brands. Let's just say that. How does your history, your experience shape the background and how you're now thinking about what is a very fast-paced, very evolving media industry today?
Yeah. Look, I've been really fortunate in that I've had this almost two parts of my career. I started out in agencies, spent 10, 12 years working at agencies across many verticals. I mean, you mentioned entertainment, so entertainment and pharma and CPG and travel and tech and telecom, and all of that has given me incredible experience to learn across multiple industries and the brilliant people that I work with to allow me to get to Diageo now 12 years in. And I believe that I am a much better client than I would have been had I not spent all that time at the agencies. All of that has really set me up for
it's like a boot camp
success here. Yeah. I mean, agencies I find that some of the, I wouldn't say all, but some of the best people that I work with here are those that come from an agency background, just because I think you're kind of brought up to always be at service, right, Matt? Like you're always sort of at service of your client. And I got here and felt like my boss at the time had to pull me aside, say, hey, look, you're not at service of all the brands here. Like, you work with them and you need to learn how to leverage your agencies to be your partner here, but you're not at service. But I always felt that way. And I think it was the way I came up in this business.
It's like relationship at the core of everything, no matter what you do, no matter what your expertise is, right? Now I'm in a technology sector and I still think service first. And people have to remind me, they're like, that's second. Get the product working first. Like, yes. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a combination of both, but I think that's the culture that I try and share with my team. And I have a pretty big team here, about 35 people, is that we really need to make sure that we are leading and always remembering that we are at service of this amazing business that we're in, and that we're here to have fun, but also drive that business every day as well. And I think the way I kind of grew up in this business brings that.
So feeding off of that, like at this point in your career, you've been there for 12 years. what's like the core belief that you bring into every media decision that you're making and that you expect from your team as well?
Yeah. Um, Look, I think one of the biggest reasons why I've had some success here is that Diageo has made an investment in measurement, and it really helps me understand how our media is performing, whether it's good or bad. So I am able to come into every conversation and use that data for every decision that we make. Um, so like, at its core, I'm like well equipped with the analysis, with the insights to help us be successful. And that's only one part of it, though. I think you know good media is certainly a lot of science, but I think also making sure that what I'm responsible for putting out into the world is relevant and in the right places to embed our brands in culture. And when you think about alcohol advertising, probably the most important thing we could do is make sure that our messages are resonating and embedding in culture, so people feel really good about ordering our brands when they go to a bar like George Dickel behind me.
Well, I don't think that's changed even in it's probably been 12 years since I worked with Diageo.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's been at the core and probably in the DNA. And that started with individual brands. And as that got aggregated and rolled up, I think it's just been more of like a positive synergism where you're building off of shared learnings. But the
Mhm.
idea of like modern media leadership, I think continues to evolve. What it meant 12 years ago, 5 years ago, today is probably different. Yes, you've got your core measurement and cultural
Mhm.
relevance and consumer first mindset. But is there anything that's different now than may have been 5, 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's the amount of fragmentation has that is offering us a different way of driving scale. I think the old playbook of buying your way to scale is continuing to evolve.
Hmm.
I think where we're seeing the world going is developing content that we derive from a consumer understanding in social platforms. And a lot of that scale now can come organically. And I think really understanding what's working, so having the right analytics to know when you start to invest in that content. And that's very different. And that is not something that I could say we've turned on right away. I mean, we're still investing in traditional media channels in a very big way, because waiting for something to work on organic requires patience, and that's not something that always big CPGs or beverage alcohol suppliers like ourselves always have. But I believe that's where we're going. The data will continue to tell us if that's right. But I think what's changed is, and it's changed since the beginning of media, right? The varying ways to drive scale, which we know is foundational to driving reach, to driving awareness, to driving penetration. That hasn't changed. It's just the ways that we have now in front of us to get to that.
Hmm.
Really interesting. I know, like it's there's no rhyme or reason sometimes. I mean, you think that there's a perfect recipe to creating that, but it's patience, right? Yeah.
It's patience, and I think, I mean, honestly, kind of going back to your career a little bit, what keeps, I think, all of our jobs interesting, both of you as well, is that our job kind of changes every day, right? I mean, Val, out of home is different, today than it was 2 years ago, probably at this point. And Matt, I think the work that I see you doing as well around, ensuring that the type of content that you're pushing out onto traditional media platforms looks very much like the type of content that you're seeing on your Instagram stories and your TikTok feed, because that's what consumers are
Well, we
more
lead
willing
them,
to.
they lead us, right? That's ultimately
Right,
the give and take.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So like, if the job stayed the same every day, it'd be boring. So it's good that it continues to change.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be a conversation if we weren't talking about AI. It gets talked about as this sort of magical dust, and it sounds like you guys are dabbling in it as well.
It is.
So
Magical
where is
dust.
it meaningfully changing productivity for you as far as media and the brand teams?
You'd be crazy to not be investing in AI in some way, shape, or form. I think the world changed overnight. It seems, to me at least, that the world changed overnight with the amount of investment that's in AI and the accessibility of AI for all of us. Right. So we are certainly spending a lot of time to ensure that we are increasing our capability around the use of AI to increase our productivity and everything from internal ways of working to how we are reaching consumers using AI tools. I mean, we've just spent a good amount of time here very formally training people as to how to use internal AI tools, and we are, continuing to invest in tools that allow us to be more productive from a creative perspective, from an insights perspective, really from from beginning of the planning process all the way through to execution. We're not
So wait,
perfect. There's a lot of
when
work.
you say internal tools, are these things that you guys have built, or things that you've partnered on, or you're
It's a
adapting based
combination.
on? Yeah.
It's a combination of external tools and um, some internal tools, and I think
Are your
yeah,
publishers also providing like solutions as well? Are you impressed by what you're seeing from that, or less from that, and more you just going out and
I mean, I think
finding new?
we are very much um, partnering with our publisher partners to ensure that we have a full understanding um, of how we can ensure that our content that is living on their platforms continues to show up at scale on the LLMs. I think it's the world of SEO has changed overnight as well, and consumer discoverability. I see it. I see with my own kids at home the way they find content now. I was just watching my daughter last night and we were talking about something and she's like, let me search this up. I'm like, oh, you must be going to Google. She went to TikTok. She went to TikTok to find what she was looking for. I'm like, that's weird. That's the first place you go to, huh? She's like, yeah, that's how I find things I'm looking for. So brands need to very much recognize that and make sure that we're working with our publisher partners because they're the ones that are feeding the LLMs. And that's where ultimately we want to show up.
And I think the format too is really interesting because we're in this murky middle where different platforms and technologies are being used in different ways. What the content is, where it's coming from, the authenticity, origins, sources of truth can create as much confusion as they can clarity, which is why, to me, like faster isn't always better, and more isn't always better. What does better mean to you in this context?
Yeah, I don't think there's one answer to that, man. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think you're looking for productivity, right? You're looking to be able to create more for less at similar or better quality than traditional ways of creating content, which we're certainly not abandoning by any means at all, but
Yeah.
where you're supplementing. We like to call it AI with. We call it AI with human at its core, right? So making sure that we're using AI, but we never lose sort of the soul of what we're creating. So one, I think, is productivity, but also the actual performance of that content. Is it being shared? Is it being engaged with? Are we is the content that we're creating resonating with consumers in our paid advertising and ensuring that while the engagement is going up, the cost to deliver that impression continues to go down as well, right? Because that's always been sort of the trick on the platforms. The higher engagement you get, the lower rate you pay, and that all has to be built into understanding the effectiveness of using new technology such as AI.
So more interesting to me is how Diageo is showing up in culture consistently. I
Yeah.
mean, you have like some massive brands that have done such a great job of shaping out like who their personality is. So, like, how do you think about earning cultural relevance over time, versus like chasing moments like we've been talking about?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. When it works best is when our brands have built a relationship with whatever that cultural tentpole might be. I think, some of the best examples are, over the years, the work that we've done with the Oscars. A couple of years ago, and everyone's heard me talking about this before. We did a great integration on the Oscars for Don Julio 1942. And I think if you're if you're outside looking in, you might think that's something that we just bought our way into. And the fact of the matter is that was a 15-year relationship that led to that moment. For years, we have been the Academy's partner at their bars, have ensured that we were integrated in all of the best parties around the Oscars. And like we built that relationship, we built that trust. We have a relationship with Jimmy Kimmel, right? And so we're very much embedded into his world as well. All of that coming together for that Oscars moments allowed Don Julio, which is synonymous with celebration, to show up in the show, and be a part of that broadcast and be part of the whole scene, at the Oscars. So
Those mini bottles with the straws in them that all the celebrities were holding, I still like. It's just like
yeah,
branded into my brain. Love it.
it was good. Yeah, and I think you'll see us. We've been an NFL partner for the past 5 years, and building that credibility of our brands. I think Crown Royal is a great example of a brand that even well before we had an NFL partnership, Crown was the first spirits advertiser to run in an NFL broadcast. And it's because we did it responsibly. We ran social responsibility ads, or we call it positive drinking ads, for a long time before we ran, because we wanted to make sure that everyone was good with it. The NFL was comfortable with it, the consumers were comfortable with it, and then that ultimately led to us building this relationship with the NFL, which has been really great for the past 5 years.
Well, it sounds like you take a progressive or test and learn
Yeah,
approach to it. But these aren't small bets, right? Like the Oscars and the NFL. I mean, so many brands would dream to have that partnership opportunity. But is there, internally, as your team is brainstorming and discussing and working with partner agencies, like what's the bar, no pun intended, for saying like, yes, this is the right cultural space for us, right? This is where we should be, because you don't always know that it's going to be a success, and you might miss.
Right. And we have missed, right? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're batting 1,000 on all of that. I mean, look, we try and seek out partnerships, where, like we will have an organic fit, where there are celebrations happening, where our consumers are enjoying beverage alcohol, or non-alc spirits, right? And try and show up, organically in the right way. And we would like to say getting liquid to lips, right? And build our brands in these environments that we know that consumers are spending their time. I think, offline we could talk about where it hasn't worked over the years.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. We'll save that while we're having some cocktails.
And I feel like this is a tough question, but I'm interested to hear how you answer it. Like,
Val.
No, I think it's an easy one.
You're thinking Capron.
This is your life. Like, how do you balance, like, right now in today's world, like cultural creativity with like that commercial accountability and having, to really drive performance? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, is this impossible to answer without?
No, it's not.
sharing?
No, because that is the best. I mean, the best partnerships that we've had are the ones that are carried all the way through to the floor of the off-premise and the on-premise. And I think a great example is the work that we've done over the past year with the White Lotus and Kettle One and Tanqueray. Like this was a really great one, and it was led by Lindsay Wallner in our entertainment marketing group. Again, like building relationships with the creators of that show, and it's one thing to sort of be associated with that type of cultural phenomenon that people are talking about. But to your point, Val, it only really becomes successful if it moves the business. And in this case, we did see evidence that it moved the business for Kettle One and Tanqueray. It was a really great success, and like you'll continue to see that model from us, because otherwise you don't get buy-in around the organization either, right? Then it's like this nice fluffy thing that, oh, look at this nice thing that marketing did, but if it's not pulled through all the way through below the line, then we don't really win at the end of the day, and you can't do those fun things again. I like to do fun things.
I mean, as I hear you talk about it, and I will caveat this for listeners, and you guys know this, like I didn't grow up on the media side of this industry. And I think it's my external yet adjacent mindset was always like, why is it so slow? Like it's so inflexible. You're planning 6 months in advance and you're getting all these stakeholders to align. And I get it now, probably more than I have, because you need that alignment. You need to see what's worked, but also you need your creative partners to kind of lead in some of those in some of those areas too, right? But are there ways that we can be more flexible and yet still be effective? Like if I came to you with a $10 million idea, you may not have that flexibility that you might have had in a year from now, yet the moment might not last that long. So how do you account for short-term versus long-term flexibility?
Yeah, look, I mean, some of the best things you've seen from us have, come across our desk mere weeks before you've seen them in the market. And I mean, I'm going to have every rep calling me after this one, Matt. But like,
by the way, I do have a $10 million idea for you, but we'll talk about that separately.
Val's already emailed me. She's like, like right now in this call, I've already got a pitch for this new board
2028
somewhere.
Val, all right? It's
Jason. That's why you still talk to me, because I don't do that.
It launches next week. No, look, I mean, I think I've been really fortunate in that I work at a place that is very receptive to great ideas, and great ideas finding the budget to get things done. It doesn't always happen that way. We are a big portfolio business, and oftentimes we got to do the work to find the resources to get these things done. But look, I would say the majority of what you see in the market from Diageo is planned 4 to 6 months in advance. But there are opportunities that come to us last minute that we will take advantage of, for sure. And oftentimes those are the best. And oftentimes, like, those are the easiest ones to pull together because everyone just rallies really quickly, and it's the most fun because you get like the best creativity in such a short time. Gets me excited.
I love it.
And you want to put your cell phone number in right here just so we can give that information?
Yeah, please. And just send through the IOs now. I mean, I'll just sign off on them at the end of this call.
So you had mentioned you invested quite a bit into data. So what has been the biggest upside of this approach for creative and media together? I'm imagining it's for both, right? But can you share, sort of elaborate on it a bit?
One of the benefits that we have here is that we do have modeling that allows me to understand performance down to the partner level. And it's a step beyond traditional market mix modeling, which is at the channel level and generally once or twice a year that's delivered, which we do as well. And there's there's value there also. But being able to understand the performance both from a media and to a degree the creative level down to the partner level has allowed me to have very honest conversations with our partners in the marketplace to demonstrate what is working. So it's business attribution rather than the traditional day-to-day media metrics, which we're still using to optimize on a day-to-day basis. But we do have the ability to understand what has actually been delivered to the business through media. So I can have honest conversations with publishers about sort of like what we can invest in, but also I can go to to the senior leadership here at Diageo and assure them that media continues to be a competitive advantage because we have this data to support that.
And that may be part of the answer to the next question, but I think AI may also be, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Personalization, as we've gotten more sophisticated as marketers, has been the buzzword du jour of the year, the millennium, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think those are French words, but that's okay. I, as someone who has probably reduced my alcohol consumption significantly, yet still enjoys cocktails, but also have been increasingly experimenting, learning, trialing.
I'm sorry. I love when you enjoy a cocktail. I really do.
We're not going to bring back El Diablo anytime soon.
There's definitely a story here I need to...
The Don Julio Diablo story will also be told later on another episode, or maybe
Don Julio Diablo story. Okay. All right. I have to hear about that.
Well, but okay, let's revert back for my non-alcoholic, because that is an increasing investment in the portfolio, in the marketing. I don't know that I see much because I don't know that the personalization has caught up with it yet. But how do you get better, faster, smarter at personalization, especially when relevance matters and trust matters more than ever?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. And I mean, you're right. I mean, I think it has been probably in every deck for the past 15 years about driving personalization in media. And it's been clunky at best, right? And it's done in some places, but never as much in a scaled way as I think we all would like or ambition for. So what I will say is that in the instances where creative has been personalized to the location that person is in, personalized based on, consumer behavior, we have seen better results on something like that compared to creative that is less broadly or more broadly targeted, I should say. But I feel optimistic, man. And I'm curious if you guys are feeling the same way. I feel optimistic about like finally actually delivering on the promise of that infinite loop that we've seen in every deck for a long time. To be with AI, I feel like we're pretty close to getting there, and I certainly believe that we're going to try this year to get better at it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you we figured it out.
No, I mean, look, I think there's better data. Like I'm all about zero-party data lately because I think that drives even more of the personalization in that feedback loop. It's having the right inputs to create better outputs, which inform the loop even better, right? It's not creating a, pay and spray or whatever that term is, and it's actually more of a bullet strategy, not bullet whiskey, but bullet in terms of aim. But bullet whiskey also something I enjoy occasionally. The question now around though non-alcoholic, I guess, we see the data. We know that the younger generations growing up are consuming less alcohol, but that if you get ahead of it becomes an even bigger opportunity for market cap and growth potential with a new audience if you position it the right way. Are you looking at that data? It's hard to look at. I'm not going to put words in your mouth either, but like the both underage and of age consumption patterns as far as leading indicators of where you need to be in the next 1 to 5 years?
We don't look at any underage data at all. I'll start with
even
that.
Even for non-alcoholic consumption.
For non-alcoholic, no.
Okay.
We don't. We will never ever look at any underage data. We only look at LDA plus, as we say.
Okay.
Obviously, in the United States, it's 21 plus.
Right.
Look, I mean, and I don't know the data that you're referencing about consumers drinking less or LDA plus drinking less. I've seen that data. I've also seen other data that is at odds with that data as well. So,
yeah,
but
I haven't validated any of it. I'm just sharing things
right.
anecdotally. Yeah,
this is not. But I mean, I'll tell you that we are. I think what we're trying to do is make sure that we quickly adapt to any consumer trend, which has been part of our history for a long time, and we because there is the consumer is drinking non-alcoholic beverages. We've invested in two great brands that have started out as non-alc beverages in Seedlip and Ritual. And Guinness 0.0 has been one of our most successful brand launches in a very long time here, and it's a great product because it tastes like a Guinness and it looks like a Guinness, and it's a fantastic product. So, like we recognize that is what consumers want, and we're continuing to invest there in the same way that we recognize that consumers are drinking the ready to drink category at scale, right? So you'll see us continuing to invest there. I mean, Casamigos margaritas this year. Try one if you haven't. It's fantastic.
My favorite part about Guinness was I call it 0.0. What do you call it? 0.0? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but you call whatever you want as long as you're drinking that.
I have, yeah. But I love that it's taken this, multi-century old brand. It actually added, was it like teal or turquoise? Like it's like brightening it up. I like that.
I love it.
It caught my attention though. So
yeah, I love it. I'll often drink it here at the bar after work. Also, and I love Guinness, so I love the taste of it. It's great.
Yeah,
I love Guinness.
Yeah.
Well, this non-alc conversation is boring me a bit, so I'm going to switch it up a bit. I like alcohols.
Pour one out for Valerie right now. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I'm kidding. So, going back to the White Lotus alignment, like I'm wondering from like a brand responsibility level, how do you like monitor that, like working with like a show like that and aligning the brands accordingly to, like, do you have input in how the product is used in those spaces? Like, I love the fact that it helped drive business decisions. So like, tell me a little bit more about that. Do you, like that process of being involved in those types of things?
Or can you help inform the script in any way, right? Can you help? No.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, that wasn't a product integration, right? That wasn't you weren't seeing the the product in the show. That was a partnership where we were able to license their IP.
Got it. Okay.
In our comms, and we Kettle One was also working with Patrick Schwarzenegger as one of our influencers and brand ambassadors.
Very handsome.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
he dresses great too. Sorry.
Yeah. He's a handsome devil. He's a handsome devil, and he's a great partner of ours as well. So and it was like. That's just one of these things that just work really well, and I think it's also because, again, like kind of going back to what we were saying before, like we built that relationship with the creators of that show for a long time, building up to it, so they trusted us with their brand also, and that's important. Like it's not always, look, there's money exchanged, right? But there's
partnership.
Yeah, it's a real partnership. They trusted us, and we trusted them with our brands.
And brand safety becomes a critical core staple in every conversation that takes place, I think. Has anything changed about how you guys think about it or talk about it, just even as media environments evolve?
Has it changed? Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we brand safety is probably in many ways the first thing we look at before we get into a partnership, because we're a beverage alcohol company, right? So we have to do that. There's so many important guardrails that we put in place around our business to ensure that our we're showing up responsibly, that we're showing up next to brand safe adjacencies. One of the reasons why I enjoy working here is because we are a responsible company, and we are we are selling a product that we want our consumers to be responsible around. We want them to drink better, not more, Val. And
shots fired. Wow.
Listen,
I like it.
You should be loving me right now for my attitude towards things. But anyway.
But before we go to our power hour or lightning round section,
we have another hour of this.
No, power hour was the. I mean, we could go for 3 hours and just edit it down to the best 2 hours.
You think you could find 2 hours in this?
I think we could go brand by brand. Certainly. I could go shot for shot with you in brand strategy conversations. Where should Acker show up? No, you talked about being your team and involving them as a leader, and I think leadership and management are both sides of the same coin. But the next generation of workers, of employees, of skilled labor is going to be very different. I think we all know that things are shifting in ways that, like, who knows? But I'm going to ask you, as someone who both sees where things are going, but also where you've been, I hope, if you remember. But what do you think are going to be the skills that the next generation of media leaders kind of have to develop and hone in on to really be successful? Like, where are you focusing on your management and growth with them?
Yeah. It's good. It's a good question. I think, look, I mean, the first thing that I think I'm looking for as new people come into the business is resilience. I think that's, I think, look, we'll get to the AI thing in a second, right? Because that's where we're going with this. But I think, the world, the business conditions are very unpredictable. So I'm looking for people to come into the business that are willing to sort of hang in there after a couple of rough days, right? And I think that's more important than ever. I think, yes, I am looking for people that recognize that the world did change overnight, and that modern marketing is very different today than it was even 2 years ago. I want people to be able to recognize that we're in a world right now where we don't have to, for example, wait 3 weeks to create a brief and then another 2-3 weeks for an agency to come back with a response to that brief. No one could afford to live in that world anymore. These things have to move faster. So I'm looking for people that recognize that and know how to use those tools to get us there. Like, people who are coming into business now, and I have 2 teenagers myself, and I want them to be building an AI in their free time. I want them to know how to use all the tools, because any business is going to, no matter what profession you're in, you're going to have to know how to use these tools. Look, I'm certainly no kid, and I spent a lot of time.
You look great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
the AI touch up.
This is why I came to this podcast today, to get cheap compliments.
All truth, nothing but the truth.
But like, look, I mean, in my free time, I'm spending time in these tools myself, like learning how to use them, learning how to build. I have a guy on my team who is leading AI capability, and I've spent a lot of time with him just showing me how to do things, because I think it's important that we continue to learn and reinvent ourselves, and I think stay relevant. And that's what I'm looking for any new people that are coming into the business, and that's what I'm trying to communicate and raise the capability across my team and the organization here.
Well, that's the reason why you're not just a great media mixologist, but probably a great person to work for.
I'm the best.
So, okay.
You are.
We will see now, because now's when it gets real.
To lean into the snark.
Yeah, now's when it gets real with the lightning round. So lean in even more.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Nervous.
First platform or channel, site, app you open every morning. What is it?
Probably email.
PG-13.
Email?
How dare you, Val? How dare you?
It's an email from Val.
It's an email from Val with a new opportunity.
February IO. What is okay? Give me 3 brands, Diageo brands, that you'd bring to a dinner party, and one that's not invited.
And one that's not invited.
Well, give me the 3 first that you bring to the dinner party. You're walking in with 3 bottles.
Yeah, sure. I'm walking in with a. Well, it depends if I like the people. Let's
you go to a dinner party with people you don't like.
Well, sometimes you're dragged, right? I mean, sometimes you're dragged to a dinner. Oh God, and then who knows what they're getting. But if I like them, I like these people. Okay, I like these people. So I'm bringing a bottle of Don Julio 70 because it's an incredible liquid. I am bringing a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label because it's great and everybody drinks it. Mm-hmm. And I am likely bringing a bottle of Kettle One tequila.
That sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good party.
But if there was a less mainstream choice, I would bring a bottle of Blade and Bow bourbon, which is my my go-to at home, which I really enjoy.
All right. Well, now you've given a recommendation that I was not familiar with, so thank you.
There you go.
So we can cross that one off the lightning round question list that doesn't actually really exist. But what's an underrated media channel right now that you're bullish on?
I don't know if I have an underrated one for you. I mean, I feel like
they're all perfectly rated because you measure them so well.
Yeah, no,
you're supposed to stay out of home, Jason. You realize this.
Right. Certainly undervalued, definitely out of home.
Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
Yeah, I love out of home. That's a tough one, Matt. I mean, I think look, all the heat is in the the social platforms, TikTok and Instagram still. I think don't sleep on any of the big CTV providers. It's interesting, and I won't name any brands, but those that are using AI to help brands connect with consumers based on the content that's in that programming is really interesting to me right now also. And there's a handful of partners that have come to me with things like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Can you guys,
whether it works,
given whether it's compliance issues and legal issues, can you do like retail media if you don't control certain aspects of it?
Sure.
Val seemed to have the answer, but it's like, sure, absolutely, you could do that.
I'm asking you. You control the budget, not Val.
Sorry, I didn't mean to answer.
We absolutely work very closely with
certain partners,
certain retail look, I mean, all of our retail partners. But from a media perspective, we're generally only working with the marketplaces, right? So the Uber Eats, the Instacarts, the DoorDashes of the world. Compliantly, we're able to buy media from them, but it's not compliant for us to buy media from a retailer that actually has a license to sell alcohol.
It's funny, when we had Vinny on from Hershey's last year, I was doing like a chocolate kiss shot for like jargon and buzzwords. Every time you mentioned I was not going to do that with your products, we would have deteriorated very quickly. But in a jargonless way, or as jargonlessly as possible, give me 3 words to describe your job, like what you do.
3 words. This is 2 words, so I don't know how you're going to count this, but I think be seen, right?
Okay.
Measure, and
adapt. I mean, be seen and measure. The flywheel has to come back around again.
Yeah. I mean, adapt, optimize. I was going to go to responsibility because I mean, there's a lot on my plate here. So, but I think if you had asked me like, what's the Like, what's your job? my job is to ensure that our brands are seen by as many of the right people as possible. So be seen would be number one.
Well, we will ensure that you are seen and heard with this podcast, personally and professionally. But I am grateful that you have chosen the next 3 hours and the past 3 hours, as this is edited down to about a 45-minute conversation, to share that wisdom with us. And I don't know. I definitely feel like I learned something, which is not always the case.
That's great. That's great. I am really, really honored to be on your podcast and be the first podcast guest of 2026. I'm sure Smartless will be calling me right after this.
I
to
hope
sell
so,
me
man.
ads.
Or Conan.
Yeah,
I love you. You know I love Conan. Yeah, Conan, call me. I'm right here.
I'm happy for them to be our chaser anytime.
I have a feeling that these numbers are going to trump Vinny or a couple of other episodes that really.
Well,
that's always my goal.
Again.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
it's always my goal.
You are a national treasure in the media and marketing world, Jason. So
yeah,
we'll
I'm actually that's. I'm going to get a T-shirt. I'm a national treasure.
Well, thank you, Jason. I wish you a great second half of 26 and first half of 27 here in the second half of 26. And I just broke my brain trying to figure that out.
H2 as we call it. We're in H2. JFM.
And with that, see you later.
Have a good day, guys.
That wraps this episode of Snarketing. Huge thanks to Jason for the insight and perspective. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you next time.